So Season of the Deep starts in like a week and a half at the point of recording this, and currently I have nothing better going on. So, I got to thinking, there's like nothing better for me to do. You know, Bungie's been like teasing all these secrets and stuff. What can I do about it? Well, again, nothing better going on in my life. I'm gonna dox a fish. It lives here. Okay, yes, it does live on Titan. We all already knew that. But doxing is so much more than just saying where somebody lives. It's also figuring out how they look. I mean, that's what the internet did to Dream for like 2.5 years. So, if we're gonna find out what this thing looks like, our best shot is to look at all the teasers that we've gotten and also try to figure out the scientific classification of it. I mean, I just had to find a reference somewhere, right? There isn't much you can even dox about a fish. It looks like a fish. We all already know this. But at the very least, I can kind of find out how big it is, hopefully. So let's establish what we know from all of the teasers that we've had over the past couple years, and also the random things the Drifter said when he was drunk, probably. So first of all, this thing is a large predator. It has circular pupils, which means that it's going to be pretty good at hunting, but not very good at seeing in the dark, which is very common for, again, extremely large predators. We don't have something called the tapetum lucidum, which if you've taken like AP anatomy or anything, you know what I'm talking about because you did a cow eye dissection. But essentially what that does is allow people to see better in the dark. But a lot of big mammals and also other big predators don't have it because it makes seeing in the light and seeing details way, way harder. And again, I don't see reflection on this thing's, you know, cornea, whatever. So, probably doesn't have it. However, it's most likely not a deep hunter. We can tell this because, one, it has eyes a lot like ours. Do you see what they look like? Does it... Can you see? It probably doesn't hunt in the dark because, one, Titan's oceans aren't very dark, it doesn't seem. They actually seem to have a lot of bioluminescence in them, which is interesting, but again, methane ocean, probably just some weird life forms, who cares? Secondly, it's seen near the surface of the waters, which for a very deep down predator, that wouldn't happen very often. Like, you don't see giant squids coming up to the surface very much unless they're in distress or, well, dead. And from the teaser that we had in 2017, this thing doesn't look very dead. If it's a hunter near the surface of the water and it's also an anguilliform, spoilers, then it's probably an ambush hunter in reefs and bays. This thing also has spines along its back, seeing as it not only is a fish, but also has spines. That means it would be in family... class at Actinopterygii, or ray-finned fishes. These are the fishes that are bony fishes, or the ones that have a series of spines or frills on their back. This, however, does not narrow it down very much, as that is 50% of all vertebrates in the entire planet. Wow, these things are good. We also know that the long boy in the soup is a long boy in the soup, which means that it's long and is a boy. Probably. Unfortunately, in our world, sea serpents aren't real, but eels are, and they are in class order Anguilliforms. Anguilliforms is the order of eels and other, you know, long, slimy fish that nobody likes. Just nobody likes them. There are several problems with this, seeing as eels don't have eyelids or breathe methane, but I'm going off of what I have, and shut up, this is my video. Back to the question though, what animal is most similar to it that is currently on planet Earth? Well, since it's a predator that possibly hunts near the surface of water in reefs or something, it could be an Muridae, or the class of moray eels. These eels are the ones that you think about when you think about predator eels. However, most of them don't have spines like this. There's the viper moray, which does have like a pretty spiny ridge along its back, but barely, it's still contained together. So again, we're still stretching here. Another family it could be in is Euryphangidae or Sacopharyngidae, also known as the families of gulper and pelican eels. These do have spines, however, I don't think it's very likely that the long boy in the soup's design is based off of these things. Because they have spines, but they don't have these type of spines, and also they have their eyes on the top of their head. So, yeah. crap. Most likely, you're talking about the Moray family. Because a design based off of this is way cooler than a design based off of whatever the heck this is. Anyways, assuming this thing is based on a moray eel, how big is it? Well, currently, we only have the dimensions of its eye, and that eye is really freaking big. So, I'm gonna have to find a way to measure the long boy in the soup using its eye by equating it to a moray eel. I'm going to be using the dimensions of the giant moray. One, because that's the one everybody thinks about when they think about moray eels. And two, it's cooler. A moray eel's eye is about 1 inch by 1 inch, or the size of your thumb. You may be wondering, Ace, how did you get those measurements? You don't go around looking at moray eels all day. I did pixel measurements on a picture of a dead moray eel. I am not okay. Anyways, so the moray eel is 1 inch by 1 inch. However, the long boy in the soup's eye is about the size of a guardian. And the guardian canonically is 6 foot 2 inches, or around there, really like 1.66, however long it is, I don't know. But regardless, the eyeball is around 74 inches in diameter. There are still chips on the ground. Now we have a ratio to work off of 1 to 74. And the moray eel averages around 8 feet, and get anywhere from 6 to 10. But that means a moray on average is around 96 inches. Don't take a 96 inch average out of context. Our giant moray eel is about the size of 96 moray eel eyeballs. Gosh, I love it when math is easy. Multiply 96 by 74 to get 7,104. Divide that by 12 to get 596. The long boy in the soup is probably around 600 feet long. That is a long boy. If you're wondering how big 600 feet is, that's about the size of the Seattle Space Needle. This dungeon about to be crazy. So the thing is, this is all conjecture, and I could be making all this up and you wouldn't be any the wiser. I'm probably wrong. But still, whoa, this thing is big. The more scary thing to me than the moray eel big boy thing in Titan, whatever, is the fact that it needs a food source. And a thing that big that has predator eyes is most likely not going to be like feeding on krill and stuff. And the moray eel normally eats lionfish. And lionfish usually get from like anywhere between like 10 and 18 inches long. And so if we're scaling that up again, how big exactly is sea life on Titan? Oh, yeah, I was supposed to figure out how this thing looked. Well, it has spines and stuff and like other things. So I drew it. I'm not a good artist, but... And since I'm the guy who doxed, which is the unscientific term for discovered, the long boy in the soup, I get to name him. And I vote we name him Lugia. Why do we name him Lugia? One, it's a reference to Lugia, the Pokemon, which is pretty cool, and also the god of the sea, and yeah, stuff. I still don't know how this thing's a god of the sea. It's a psychic flying type. Pokemon was weird back in the day, okay? And also, we name it Lugia because Lugia like snot. Like, you know, when you cough up a Lugia and it's, you know, wet and slimy and gross and all that, like a sea serpent. But yeah, in short, I have problems and way too much time on my hands. So thank you all so much for watching. If I don't go insane by the time the season comes out, I will get back to you. Alright, well, I'm gonna go eat my chips and take my meds. That is a great idea. What a fantastic idea, Ace. I love that you had that idea.
Your time is up.